From Kevin Magnussen's incredible comeback to Formula One to the whole Oscar Piastri saga, here are some of the best moments from Netflix's Drive to Survive Season 5. But we'll have to kick things off with Mercedes' terrible season. The team's defense of the Constructors' Championship didn't go as planned at all. There was a huge change in regulations and car designs starting from the 2022 season, and clearly the team that struggled the most with it was Mercedes.
Let's see what we can do today. Be a tall order to grab it back, but we're going to give it all we got.
Look, mate.
You got to just win it.
Yeah, I know. I want to be boring.
Just win it.
Really boring.
If you win it, we'll win it. True.
At first glance, their car really looked unorthodox. We could clearly see other drivers joking around with George Russell making fun of the car's overall design. But Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff looked really optimistic about defending their constructors' title and winning the Drivers' World Championship. However, as soon as a team takes a look at the car for the first time and they test it, the looks on their faces said it all.
He's good decide it though. Daniel Ricciardo now comes under pressure from Esteban Ocon going into the chicane.
Ricciardo 1.3 in front. Let's push.
They struggled with porpoising for the most part of the year while the other teams figured out the solution quickly. They still had some good moments though, like at the crazy British Grand Prix when Hamilton clinched a podium and we could see what it meant to the team. Also at the Brazilian GP, the team got its first win of the season through Russell and they finished the race in first and second positions. This was a huge boost for them, but other than that, the whole season's full of Mercedes disappointments and frustrations. Unlike Kevin Magnussen, who made a dramatic return to Formula One in 2022. This guy's return to Formula One is nothing short of special. See, Haas was down one driver before the start of the season, and they decided to call Magnussen back. Magnussen, who recently became a father, was super excited about getting another chance. He explained how fatherhood has changed him for the good and that he was determined to prove everyone wrong. He also revealed that he never expected to be back in an F1 car again, but then Haas called him back out of nowhere, and let's just say, his return, one to remember.
E credo che è stata una bella soddisfazione per tutti
Claudio, ti cagavi sotto oggi.
rispondere alle critiche. Perché il secondo posto
He finished 5th in the first race of the season, and everyone on the team was super happy for him. But no one was probably happier than Günther Steiner. As he should be, it was his decision to bring him back after all, and while Steiner's call to bring Magnussen paid off, you know what didn't? The decision to sign Mick Schumacher. There's a whole episode of the show dedicated to struggles in his second season with Haas, and it was just awful to watch. Steiner was clearly unhappy about the whole situation, and he openly says that if Mick doesn't want to stay with the team, he's free to go. In that episode, Mick also talks about carrying the name of Schumacher and talks about how he takes no pressure because of it. Overall, it's a pretty sad and dramatic episode about Mick's struggles. And speaking of dramatic, who can forget about the Oscar Piastri saga? In one episode of the show, Alpine team principal Otmar Schaffnauer opens up about his departure from Aston Martin and his arrival at Alpine. He says that Aston Martin was like more pressure and less work, while Alpine is completely different from it. But wherever Otmar goes, the drama follows him. And it came with him to Alpine as well. Now, Oscar Piastri is one of the most talented upcoming drivers in F1. Red Bull's boss Christian Horner even said that he could be the next Max Verstappen. But see, in the Alpine episode, Vettel's retirement from the sport shocks everyone. And it starts a tug of war in the paddock as well. Alpine desperately wanted Fernando Alonso to stay with the team, but Aston Martin offered him huge bucks to replace Seb Vettel, and he accepted. Who wouldn't? Alpine then announced that their reserve driver Piastri would be taking Alonso's seat. But here's where the drama happens. The next day, Piastri tweets that he has had no discussions whatsoever with Alpine regarding the vacant seat, and that he's not gonna drive for the team next season.
That I've left. I carried myself well through this time. I did okay. So, that's cool.
Hülkenberg.
Nico Hülkenberg.
Whoa. On the other hand, Zach Brown of McLaren always talks highly of Piastri. He swoops in and signs Piastri from right under the noses of Alpine, and well, Otmar's response to this whole situation was anything but pretty. He took some serious shots at Piastri and Alonso and accused them of not being loyal to the team. According to him, Piastri should have shown a little bit more integrity. Yikes. But it's easy to see why Otmar reacted this way. He had a lot of hope for Piastri and saw him as the future of the team. So, seeing him just get up and leave like that must have been super disappointing for him. But if you ask me, the situation could have been handled a whole lot better. Anyway, at the end of the episode, Alpine announced Pierre Gasly as their new driver, someone Otmar is very impressed by. He even says in the end that if he was the CEO of McLaren, he would have signed Gasly. That's a huge statement. Let's see how things pan out for him, especially after such a dramatic signing. But see, as much as this season was about drama, it was also about new beginnings. So it's only natural I talk about Max Verstappen's Drive to Survive debut. In one of the most dramatic episodes of the show, the world champion makes his appearance in front of the camera. Max sat down and had a chat with the show's crew about how the season unfolded with Red Bull. He also talks about the struggles of Sergio Perez and how Perez is under a lot of pressure because of his performances. The circumstances in which Max appeared on the show, though, they weren't exactly ideal. It was in an episode that focuses on the Japanese and the Singapore GP, the one where all the other teams accused Red Bull of exceeding the cost cap and cheating. The episode captures all the principals who went against Red Bull, and how Zach Brown writes a letter to the FIA to make an example out of Red Bull for breaking the rules. When Verstappen is questioned about the accusations, he says that it's something between the teams and that he doesn't focus on things like these. Like, how can Verstappen be so calm all the time? It's incredible. But one thing that was anything but calm during this season was Ferrari. Like, they had so many ups and downs, it's actually unbelievable. There are many scenes dedicated to Ferrari's performance in the 2022 season. With Mattia Binotto at the top, Ferrari looked like an unstoppable force at the beginning of the season. It all starts with the first race in Bahrain where Ferrari dominated, while Red Bull was struggling with some technical issues with the cars. But as Season 5 progresses, it really takes us deeper into how Ferrari's strategic mistakes cost them their whole season. All behind-the-scenes footage and interviews with the drivers show how much the team was struggling with strategies, and how frustrating it was for their drivers. Season 5 ends on a good note for Ferrari as they show how hard they battled in the final race of the season, and finally managed to finish second in the Constructors' Championship. But in the last few scenes of the final episode, Binotto leaves as the team principal, and the man who replaces him, Fred Vasseur, is asked if he's looking any good in red. Phenomenal way to end this season if you ask me, but that's all for the best moments from Drive to Survive Season 5.